Hello everyone, welcome to Movie Talk. Today I'm going to be talking about The Killer, directed by David Fincher and starring Michael Fassbender. This is a movie that I have been waiting for a long time, not really because it only came to the cinema like less than a month ago, but I wanted to go to the cinemas, but I didn't have the chance, so I watched on the streaming on Netflix and I liked it. We follow a lonely, calculated, and ruthless killer played by Michael Fassbender, who is forced to deal with the consequences of a catastrophic mistake made by him during one of his services. He has always managed to stay free of regrets and with a total cool and methodical posture, but now that the incident has put him exactly at the center of an international hunt for his head, the killer begins to distrust all of those around him, including even those who seek him out to hire him. Little by little, man begins to lose more and more control over his own thoughts. The Killer is this kind of movies that we aren't getting nowadays. What I mean by that is these straightforward movies like Top Gun Maverick. We have our story of we have the mission, we go complete the mission, and it's all done. The Killer is this kind of movie like the our protagonist has the mission, goes there, delivers the mission, makes obviously it has some sub plots, but it doesn't really matter. He makes his mission and then it's all over. This kind of movies we don't have nowadays. Nowadays there's always like a plot twist or a big and confusing plot that has some innovation in some kind of area. It's not that this movie doesn't have innovation, like it has some interesting themes, but the core of the movie is just our main character wants vengeance, goes there, and it has his vengeance. He makes his mission, and it's all done. It's all the movie. This is not a spoiler. I'm just saying that it's a straightforward movie. The plot of the movie is not anything confusing. It's not anything specifically confusing. It's not anything big innovation. No, it's just a straightforward plot. It's all I'm saying. Being directed by David Fincher, I already knew that there was going to have some big level of cinematography. It's not cinematography that specific cinematography that I'm talking about. I'm talking about technical stuff like the sound, the editing, everything. David Fincher works really hard for that kind of stuff. So what I was expecting was a beautiful movie, and I got a beautiful movie. I was expecting to have some other really good qualities in other technical areas, and the movie really delivered it. One thing that everyone is saying is the sound is very good because of all of the things with the music. There is a lot of times where we see in movies when a character puts headphones, earphones, whatever, we either hear in the perspective of the character, we hear the music on our headphones, or we hear the music in the room, far from our ears. And this movie makes a combination between these two things. It depends where the camera is at. If we're looking at what the protagonist is looking, if we are on the main character's perspective, we are hearing as he is hearing the music. If we are looking at the protagonist with a camera angle that we can see it's not from his perspective, we are hearing the music where the protagonist is. And I think that's a interesting idea, but it really doesn't work, at least for me, because either is on my ear, either is on the other side of the room, either is on the other. Like, it's very confusing, especially when the camera is changing all the time. Like when there is a lot of cuts in the scene, like the music is kind of confusing. We are hearing from the left ear, then the right ear, then all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's just a minor thing that I noticed, that it confused me. It made me get a little bit out of the movie. But talking about other aspects of the movie, like the protagonist, Michael Fassbender, he's great. I believe that Michael Fassbender delivers a good performance. I think that's probably because of David Fincher. Maybe if it was other director making this movie, probably wouldn't be this good. And if it wasn't Michael Fassbender, probably wouldn't be this good also. The thing is, there is a lot of narration in the movie. Like, our character doesn't talk a lot, there isn't much dialogue, but we are constantly hearing a narration. And Michael Fassbender has this charisma in the narration. Like, he delivers I don't want to say performance because he's reading the text, because it's just narration, but he has his voice is kind of charismatic, and it is kind of nice to hear him talk in the narration. when he is on camera, I think he delivers a good performance because he doesn't have a lot of dialogue, so this already limits a bit of the performance. But just for his eyes, just for his face, we see the emotions that the character is going through, and this kind of stuff that the actor needs to make. He makes kind of a threatening character, like we kind of have to like him because he's the main character, but we see him kill all of these persons, and we are like, was that really necessary? Maybe not. And that's a thing from the script, that it wasn't David Fincher who wrote, but he was a director, so I'm assuming that it is on David Fincher's hands. That this is a very clever script where we see that the character is far from perfection, and he's not a very likely person, to be honest, but we kind of understand what he's after, and we kind of understand his mission. So it's not a completely 100% empathy for the character. Empathy is a strong theme in this movie, and we don't really want to like the character much, but we kind of do because the script is a bit clever. He has his motivations, and the development throughout all the movie makes us like a bit more the character, but he is not a good person. And I think that's a quality of the script, of the direction, of the acting of Michael Fassbender. So I think that was a very clever decision. The movie goes on a high throughout basically all the second act and even the third act, but in the first couple of 30 minutes of the film, I was really engaged in the story. Like, there isn't much story, to be honest, in the first 30 minutes. I'm here talking about the story, but there isn't much story. It's just an introducing of the character, an introducing of what the character does, and what he will do. I don't want to give any spoilers, so I can talk really what happens in the first half. No, not the first half, the first like 30 minutes, the first act of the movie. We get a really nice introduction to the character in a really, I don't want to say strange way, but yeah, I am gonna say it's a strange way to introduce the character, and he's already on a mission in the first 30 minutes. I can't, I don't want to give spoilers, so I'm going to be very careful what I'm saying. But these 30 minutes are really engaged into the story, at least for me. I don't know if the other people were liked it as much as I did in the first 30 minutes, because it's slow, it's slow paced, the movie. Like, this first act is it's probably the hardest to go through, because if you don't get the first act of the movie, you're probably not going to be interested for the rest of the movie, and you're just not gonna like it, because this movie is not fast. This movie is not like Mad Max Fury Road. This movie is really in the kind of old era of cinema where there was this slow films, slow paced films, there was this contemplation scenarios and things like that. Of course, we have our action scenes in this movie, and it's really tense. It's a really tense movie because we don't know if the protagonist is gonna kill someone. I don't want to give spoilers, but if you ever think he's not gonna kill, he probably will. And yes, it's just a nice, good looking movie. It's not just a nice film. I liked watching it. Like, I wasn't expecting a lot. Well, I kind of was, because it was David Fincher. Like, every time a David Fincher film comes out, I haven't watched all the filmography. So yeah, I have watched, of course, Fight Club, Seven, Social Network, Zodiac, The Case of Benjamin Button. But there are films that are left in this filmography that I haven't watched, like Gone Girl, Panic Room, Mank. And a few days ago it was The Killer, but I've already watched it. It's a good film. When I ended it, I was thinking, oh my god, this is like top 10 of the year. And now think a little bit better, thinking I've already watched other stuff from this year, so maybe it isn't from the in the top 10, but maybe it is. We never know. I will have to wait to see that. For The Killer, I give an 8 out of 10. And yes, guys, this was the video. I want to watch some movies that I haven't been able still to watch, so I haven't been having a lot of content to give you. But this movie, I thought it was interesting to make a review. I was think that people would be interested in this movie because now it's on Netflix, so you can just go to Netflix and watch the movie. It's not a long movie that has like 1 hour and 40 minutes, so yeah, that's a thing that people normally like too. It's not long movies, and yeah, it's just a good movie. I liked it, and yeah, go watch it from your own opinion, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.